world is time. Breaking down the stories, every view will unwind. From left to right, we'll see the light. It's balance, we're chasing, no fighters fight. Good is still be talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Good is still be here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Good is still be keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay on while it's diving deep with Curtis. So be the combos you need. The combos you need. Insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis, I'll be keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, it's diving deep with Curtis. I'll be the convo's unique. Curtis, I'll be talking it straight. Let's hear both sides, let's communicate. Politics and reason, let's find the truth. Curtis, I'll be here to bridge it for you. Debates, insights, it's all on the screen. Curtis, I'll be keeping it keen. Hit subscribe, stay a while, it's diving deep with Curtis. So be the combos you need. The combos you need. The combos you need.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your tired midnight blogger, blogging almost an hour later than he intended to. My apologies. Work was great until about 11 o'clock, and then it just kind of went crazy. So, I think I clocked out about a half hour ago and ran to the Sonic, grabbed some food, inhaled it, and now I am on here, not as well, even remotely as well prepared as I would like, but we shall endeavor to persevere. Let's first say hello to everyone in the chat. Then I will dive into the topic. This will probably be a 2 or maybe even a 3-parter because I am exhausted. I don't want to be in the stream past 9 o'clock. I want to drop asleep into bed. And it will be civil tonight. I guarantee it, because I'm too tired to argue. So if anyone wants to say anything, they're welcome to say it. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Hail and well met, John Ponerero. Gorilla's Censored Thoughts. Keep it down. I'm trying to cuss out and scream and have a stroke. At section 31. And yes, I was late. I'm sorry, Gorillas. And I know that likely you were doing your own stream. God bless you, sir. I hope that your stream is magnifique. Connie Cleary, hail and well met. Welcome to the channel. And let's see if I can get y'all something worth your time. Sashi, hail and well met. Greetings from the future and Space Fraggle, Kapla. Glory to you and your house. From the random vampire blogger. It will be civil, and I mean, it was civil. I mean, these streams have all been civil. It's just, I got one comment. I got it from someone I really didn't expect to get it from. I'm not going to dwell on it. If they show up, I will talk to them civilly. But tonight is not going to be about debate. It's not going to be about Trump. Not going to be about Biden. It's going to be about solutions. My bias may still come through in the things that I think are the big problems, and they may come through in my solutions, but I will endeavor to be centrist in my quest for solutions. Again, this will probably be a two-parter. I'll run till about 9 o'clock, and then probably finish it up on Thursday. But Space Fraggle is glad that I made it. It will be civil tonight. I was referred to as a bad person last political discussion I took part in. Oh my gosh, I'm Space Fraggle. I'm so sorry. I hope that was not. I hope that was not anyone that I know. I think you're a wonderful person. I know we don't see eye to eye on some things, but you are always respectful. You never basically say, "Stuff it, Curtis. Your ideas suck." So I can't imagine somebody calling you a bad person, but they have no honor. That's how I'm going to deal with it. Sashi, remember I told you about MasterCard and Visa denying payment to Japanese companies? Reuters came up with a report on stuff going on with OnlyFans. Oh, maybe I should have dived into that instead. Oh, and happy Chinese New Year to everyone. Yes, indeed. That's what I should have talked about. Yeah, our discussions are all civil. It was uncivilized on another channel. Oh, gosh. You are the best, Curtis. Well, I appreciate you. Somebody who I really wouldn't have thought would say something, said something to the effect that I was not the best, which, is okay. They're entitled to that opinion. They have their reasons for thinking the way they think. And to quote John Pontorero, I am allowing somebody to have too much space in my mind rent-free. We love, and again, I don't count. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Fraggle, please don't. I'm not meaning to speak for you, but I don't think of you as a liberal. I think of you as a Democrat who basically is logical and intelligent. So, don't get me wrong. I'm not meaning that to sound condescending, because I know there's plenty of Republicans that I wish to hell were logical and intelligent and are not. So it's not about party to me. It's about trying to find the truth, and I think that's what we're all here for, is at least an effort to find the truth. All right, now I'm tired enough that I could easily click end stream without meaning to. What I want to do is shut off the music, even though it is kind of fun to listen to. All right, back to the comments for just a second. We are all Americans, 100%. And that's like, I'm hoping that if anything that I said was offensive when it came to, specifically not the last stream, because I really don't think I said anything offensive there. I may have been on my high horse, but I think that nothing was offensive. But if I did say anything offensive, say in the stream about the California fires, some of the things it said could have easily been taken out of context and misconstrued. Absolutely. I may disagree with some people. I may think some people did not do the best things. But at the end of the day, we're all Americans. I want California to be okay. I want them to recover quickly. I want no more people dying from it. I'm so sad that anybody died. I'm sad that anybody, even if they disagreed with me or irritated me online, I don't want anybody losing their home. I think that sucks. So Space Fraggle, that I'm not quite going to give you chat of the stream, but that will probably be in competition with whatever ends up being. We are all Americans. D are voted for Trump, voted for Biden, voted for Kamala, voted for some random libertarian, which is what I probably would have done if things hadn't changed or hadn't seemed to change to me. Sashi, if you want to check up on this story, search Reuters MasterCard OnlyFans. Okay, now he's off. All right. I may check into that just because I'm so damn tired that I don't know if I can give my topic the stuff that it deserves. John Ponterero was a Democrat all of his life. My classical liberal values are just not found there anymore for me. No, I understand. And I hope all of you understand. And this is one of the things that upset me about the person that said the comments, actually a very good person. They really are. They've helped me out tremendously. I don't want to paint it like, oh, they're bad people. That person should just be blah, blah, blah. I probably have said some hard words to them, but they are, at the end of the day, very good and kind people. But where I want to go with this is me going to the pro-Trump side of the aisle. I would say conservatives probably only influenced me 5, maybe 10% of the way. The other 90% was classical liberals. And this is the thing that I can't seem to wrap my head around, or maybe I'm just silly. John Doe Juggalo, greetings. Saying hello to everyone. John Ponterero, my heart goes out to you all. Yeah, exactly. And I still haven't messed with Stream Elements, as you see. I am only promoting Sci-Fi Mommy's channel. So, if you think I don't like the liberals, why am I promoting Sci-Fi Mommy's channel? She might not think of herself as liberal, but she would be compared to, I don't know, William F. Buckley. I don't know. Okay. Let's dive into Sashi's topic for just a quick little bit. Reuters, MasterCard, search Reuters MasterCard OnlyFans. Okay, I can do that. I may be tired, but I can do that. I don't want to use that. I want to use this one. Reuters MasterCard OnlyFans. Hopefully nothing really horrible comes up, but I'm not sharing the screen until I see something. Oh, wow. Okay, this may or may not be related to the topic. And to be honest, maybe I should change what I think of as the worst problems. Because the worst problems that I was going to talk about, and maybe I should change it. Let me know in the chat if you guys think that this is something that should supersede it. But my big 3 things were government overreach, media manipulation, and the crushing poverty of just way too many Americans. This is at least mildly related because I'm pretty sure that it is mostly, though probably not exclusively, the poor that are exploited this way. Space Fraggle, you're a stand-up guy. You never offended me and have always kept it on a roll. God bless you, sir. And same right back at you. I have yet to hear a word from you that just made me go, "That's Space Fraggle." And I'm sure it will happen one of these days, not because of you, but because we're human beings. Maybe you'll say something on a day when I'm touchy and irritated or something, and I'll take it the wrong way. And maybe I'm taking this person the wrong way. But again, no letting somebody live in my headspace rent-free. I shall instead share the subject of Sashi. And let me know in the chat if you think that this deserves to take the place of one of those three problems. And if so, which of those three problems do you think it supersedes? Or does it supersede all of them? Exclusive. MasterCard Visa failed to stop payments on OnlyFans for child blank abuse content, says whistleblower. That is actually a lot more serious than what I'd been going to talk about. And now I feel kind of ashamed. I probably should have put child abuse up there with one of the problems. You would think I would have. I was abused as a child, so you would think I would put that up there, but maybe I've just gotten so over it in a way. So this was published just a few days ago on the 24th. MasterCard and Visa failed to stop their payment network from laundering proceeds from child horrible abuse material and horrible trafficking on the popular website OnlyFans, according to allegations in a previously undisclosed whistleblower complaint filled with the U.S. Treasury's Financial Crimes Unit. The whistleblower, a senior compliance expert in the credit card and banking industries, said the two giant card companies knew their networks were being used. They knew that they were being used to pay for illegal content on the prone-driven site since at least 2021 and accused them of turning a blind eye to flows of illicit revenue. This is terrible. This is terrible. Let me finish with the article, and then I'll come back to the chat and see if there's anything going on. The complaint was filed in January 2023 with the Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network and the U.S. Justice and Homeland Security Departments, the whistleblower said. So they knew about it from 2021. The complaint was filed in 2023. The complaint said that the whistleblower and other anti-trafficking experts, including U.S. federal agents, alerted Visa and MasterCard to unlawful content on OnlyFans in a series of calls in 2021 and 2022. The federal agents corroborated the presence of child terrible abuse. I hope you understand I'm trying to use a code word. I don't know the code words for that term, and I hate that we have to censor ourselves, but there it is. But I also don't really care for the topic. It makes me sad. It also drew heavily on a 2022 study by an anti-trafficking group. Does anyone else remember? I know I'm bordering on getting political here, so I'm going to just make the statement, and then you guys do with it in your own minds what you want. But does anyone else remember the heavy criticism in 2022, or maybe it was 2023, for the film Sound of Freedom? Does anyone else remember that? And now we're hearing this. Again, just make of it what you want. Oh, your sourdough starter is, sadly, it's time to make the dough. I'll have to try a tablet. Okay. Thank you very much, John Ponerero. I was going to finish the thing and then go to the chat. I am so undisciplined. It drew heavily on a 2022 study by an anti-trafficking group that said it had found a high volume of OnlyFans accounts with common indicators of child horrible abuse material or horrible trafficking. Whistleblower said he helped with the study, which was shared with the card companies. On OnlyFans, Visa and MasterCard process payments between content creators and their customers. You will not find me on there. I might someday think about going on there and having people pay me to put more clothes on, but otherwise, you're probably not going to see me on there. When the content is child horrible abuse material, the card companies are directly handling the proceeds of these illicit transactions, said the complaint. By continuing to process payments on OnlyFans, MasterCard and Visa had willfully failed to maintain effective anti-money laundering programs required by the Bank Secrecy Act, said the complaint, which urged FinCEN and the other two federal agencies to take action against the card companies. Reuters reviewed an email confirming FinCEN had received the complaint. In response to questions, the agency said it doesn't confirm or deny the existence of whistleblower complaints. Of course not. The Justice and Homeland Security Departments declined to comment. Well, finish the article. Reuters could not determine what action, if any, the agencies took in response to the complaint, which was filed under FinCEN's anti-money laundering whistleblower program launched in 2021. Under that program, complaints are confidential. The identity of whistleblowers is protected. However, Reuters reviewed the complaint, interviewed the whistleblower on condition of anonymity, and corroborated his identity and credentials. The complaint said he had extensive expertise in fighting money laundering. In an interview, the whistleblower said the agencies never contacted him to discuss his complaint. The card companies had the power to turn off the switch. Okay, I just have to interject this. How many conservatives have had their bank accounts turned off? Well, we know Melania Trump had it happen to her. If you don't believe that, just please look it up. We know that several conservatives. We also know that the farmers in Canada, but until recently, I thought it was just Canada. Recently, I learned that it hasn't happened to the same extent, I think, but it has happened here in America. So these asshats, they can turn off someone's bank account for voting for Trump. Sorry, I know I said I wasn't going to mention him. But they can turn off someone's account for voting for the wrong person, quote unquote. And here's what baffles me about all this. Surely, I know Space Fraggle understands this. This is why he's here. If the Dems can do it to the Republicans, the horrible thing is, what's to stop Republicans from doing it to Dems? Until you just have this endless cycle of, you shut off my bank account, so now I'm going to shut off yours. You had the FBI raid my house, now I'm going to have them raid yours. Having said all that, we can do all that pointless crap, but we can't protect children. We can't shut off the bank accounts of child trafficking. I think that's wonderful. MasterCard and Visa said they hadn't heard. Oh, yeah, sure they didn't. They hadn't heard of the 2023 whistleblower complaint until Reuters contacted them. Good for you, Reuters. Be sure and put in a good plug and some advertisement here. That's good. They disputed the complaint's allegations and cited their efforts to keep their networks free of illegal activity. A Visa spokesperson said financial institutions and merchants that don't comply with Visa's robust compliant requirements will be terminated from its network. The company uses best-in-class controls to deter, detect, and remediate illegal activity, the spokesperson said. MasterCard holds all users of its payment systems to high standards. And if illegal activity is identified, we work with partners. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what I want to say. I'm not going to say it. They work with partners to act, its spokesperson said. 3 government agencies hadn't referred any specific illegal activity for us to investigate or act on, the spokesperson added. And the sad thing is, as much as I trust the government, hell, this poor bastard may be right. I don't know. But I don't trust either one, big government or big corporations. But no evidence of current illegal activity has been provided to us, despite the whistleblower's claim, the spokesperson said. I wish Moira was here. This would be right down her alley. The spokesperson denied the MasterCard had failed to maintain effective anti-money laundering programs. The company has strong governance standards through a comprehensive compliance program and strong internal controls, he said. Since the whistleblower complaint was filed, Reuters uncovered more allegations of child horrible abuse and horrible trafficking on OnlyFans. A porn-driven... Oh, I said the word. Oh, no, I said it. Oh, no, I said it again. Me. Anyway, it's a porn-driven site that generates money through subscriptions and pay-per-view content. In July, the news organizations reported that hundreds of... Look, deal with it, YouTube. Sex is a thing. It's something that happens. Grow up, YouTube, and deal with it. Hundreds of sexually explicit videos and images of minors, some as young as toddlers, have appeared on the site since 2019, according to allegations in police complaints. So the police heard about it, but MasterCard didn't. In December, a child exploitation investigator told Reuters he reported 26 OnlyFans accounts to authorities that appeared to contain sexual content featuring underage teen girls. The accounts were quickly taken down. Okay, good on somebody. The big tech people finally came through on something I care about. Another story focused on women who said they had been sexually enslaved, sometimes by a fiance or a boyfriend to make money on the platform. The MasterCard spokesman called Reuters' findings on child abuse on OnlyFans alarming, but said law enforcement or certain child protection groups would need to provide evidence of illegal activity for the company to act or investigate. Visa didn't comment on whether the company was investigating Reuters' findings. You guys should appreciate I'm being very disciplined here. There's so much I want to say. United Kingdom-based OnlyFans didn't respond to questions about the whistleblower complaint. They were probably too busy narking on people who were complaining about the government and getting them arrested. There, I got some of it out. On its website, the company says it enforces a zero-tolerance policy against any content related to child abuse or trafficking, and blocks or takes down material that violates its rules. It said it also reports illegal content to law enforcement and child protection groups. In a previous statement, OnlyFans told Reuters it works to aggressively target, report, and support the investigations and prosecutions of anyone who abuses the platform. OnlyFans is one of the world's fastest growing and most lucrative creator platforms. It relies heavily on payment cards to process subscriptions, tips, and other transactions between its more than 300 million users and its 4 million content creators. Its surging profits have made it a leader in the creator economy. In September, OnlyFans reported $6.6 billion in gross payments, and yeah, pretty gross, to creators, up 20% from the year before. It made $1.3 billion in revenue. Uncomfortable images. Many prone websites are free and make money mostly from advertising. OnlyFans, by contrast, takes a 20% cut of the income its creators earn from selling content to subscribers who must enter their card details to pay for it. OnlyFans accepts cards by MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and some of their partners. In certain countries, it allows other options such as online payments provider PaySafe, which didn't respond to a request for comment. American Express can't be used on OnlyFans under a long-standing global policy that prohibits its cards from being used for online adult content, the spokesperson said. Payment services such as Apple Pay and Google Pay also have similar policies against online porn. Yes, YouTube, it's porn. Deal with it. Grow up. It's porn. It exists. Doesn't mean we like it or support it. In the U.S., OnlyFans' main market, Visa and MasterCard, account for the vast majority of all card purchases, according to the industry data. The complaint did not make any allegations against Discover, saying its small market share meant it was unlikely to be one of the main payment methods used on OnlyFans. A spokesperson for Discover declined to comment. In 2020, Visa, MasterCard, and Discover blocked customers from using their cards to make purchases on Pornhub, another big adults-only platform, after a public outcry over alleged child sexual abuse material and other illegal content. This stopped card payments for Pornhub's paid content and forced it to rely more on ads and sales of other data. In May 2021, the BBC detailed several cases of explicit videos of underage teens on OnlyFans. I don't mean to be cynical, but it doesn't really surprise me. What does surprise me is a whistleblower just being ignored. I guess it shouldn't surprise me by now, but one expert, a U.S. federal agent, said he could prove that the site was hosting child sexual abuse material. During the call, said the attendee, the agent accessed an OnlyFans account with sexually explicit images of what he said was a young girl. The agent described the images to others on the call, but didn't share them, which would have been illegal. MasterCard told Reuters that its team had one call with a group in which explicit and uncomfortable images were discussed, but said it couldn't confirm when the call took place. Afterward, the card company requested that all financial institutions connecting OnlyFans to its payment network confirm the site's compliance with our standards and applicable law, the MasterCard spokesperson said. Each of them affirmed that status, he said, without identifying the institutions. In April of 2022, the Anti-Human Trafficking Intelligence Initiative, a U.S. nonprofit, published its study, which the whistleblower complaint drew upon. This group, whose work includes identifying illegal content online, reported that it had discovered numerous OnlyFans accounts with indicators of child sexual abuse material or sex trafficking. The indicators included keywords and images found by searching the publicly available profiles of OnlyFans creators. With these methods, researchers uncovered a tremendous amount of troubling material on the platform. The whistleblower said he reviewed the report, which notes the anti-money laundering duties of financial institutions, before publication to ensure it reflected industry practice. ATs is, I guess, the anagram they use. Investigation was shared with MasterCard and Visa, the whistleblower complaint said. The companies didn't respond to questions about the AT report. AT declined to comment. AT for no. Business as usual. Both MasterCard and Visa have tightened their rules around porn sites in recent years. In October of 2021, MasterCard introduced stricter rules aimed at preventing illegal adult content on our network. They were prompted by the ease with which people could now upload content to the internet, said John Verdeschi, the senior vice president, in a statement at the time. Under those rules, merchants of adult content, that sounds like a good name for a film. Merchants of adult content. I shouldn't be joking about it. In this case, OnlyFans were required to verify the identity and age of people featured and obtain written consent from everyone depicted. The rules also required porn sites to produce monthly reports that flag potentially illegal content and send those to banks that process MasterCard payments. In an interview in August that year with the Financial Times, OnlyFans founder and then CEO Tim Stokely, stoke me, stoke, bow, wow, said his platform was already fully compliant with the MasterCard requirements. In 2023, Visa also introduced stricter rules for its high-integrity risk merchants. This included adult-related businesses, dating services, gambling, and pharmacies. John Ponterera, what the hell's going on for you guys to be lumped in under adult-related businesses? You guys may have some splaining to do. Under the rules, banks were expected to more closely monitor merchants to prevent illegal transactions. I definitely have mixed feelings about that. But having said that, I just think it's horrible that, like I say, we're okay with closing the bank accounts of farmers and people who vote the wrong way, but you know, if it's an OnlyFans, if it's an underage girl on OnlyFans, we'll let that one slide. The whistleblower complaint said the card companies appear to be shifting the blame, imagine that, for processing payments related to child sexual abuse material onto banks while carrying on with business as usual. Visa and MasterCard did not comment on that assertion. That from our intrepid reporter across the seas, Sashi. John Ponterero declines to talk about the attachments between the pharmacy industry and the adult porn industry and says that instead he shall change hats. Pharmacists without hats. And Space Fraggle, you can believe me or not, I've done some not so saintly things in my time, but I literally have never, ever even looked up OnlyFans. I'm not saying that to brag because I'm kind of thinking back on some of the things I've done. I'm a little surprised that I can say that truthfully, but I can. I can truthfully say I have never gone to the OnlyFans website. So Big Al Presents popping by to say hi. Greetings, Big Al Presents. Welcome, welcome. And I hope that whatever stream you are haunting, frequenting, or assisting, I hope you are doing well. Space Fraggle, I am happy to say porn has never been my cup of tea. I get it. No, I get it. I mean, come on. If I'm not having sex, I don't want to see others having what I am not. You have a point. I cannot claim to have been quite so wise, but I will say this. I absolutely understand that frustration. It can be annoying to be wanting to have sex, and there's these people having sex, but I can't have sex. This sucks. This isn't fun. This isn't entertaining. This is irritating because it is not logical. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do because I am tired and I am not logical. Going to go to YouTube. It'll probably blare out. I caught it in time that it only got to blare out logical. I'm going to like my own stream because that's the way I roll. And then I'm going to put in a poll. Start a poll. What do you think is our greatest problem? Because, like I say, as tired as I am, I'm almost certain I will not get through this topic tonight. I'm going to say poverty, government, overreach, and media manipulation. All right. Basically, I'm going to talk about the other three things, at least until 9 o'clock. Kind of going cursorily over the problems themselves, and then at least attempting to share some things about the answers. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. But please, everybody, vote, and whatever the three top things that you guys vote for are is what I will talk about on Thursday. Please, God, I hope work isn't as crazy on Thursday. So, for the original intent of this blog, I had been going to announce that my thought, which Sashi in his wisdom has made me understand that maybe I should do some thinking about another topic. But to me, the big three problems are government overreach, media manipulation, lies, and crushing poverty. I know that will if you believe Jesus Christ, and you don't have to, but if you do, the poor ye have with ye always. Poverty, if the Bible is true, will never go away until God's kingdom comes. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't strive to make life better. It doesn't mean we should just try to feed those who are starving and house those that are homeless and try to essentially help people find a better way to live if it's possible. and polls rule. So the only thing that I had gotten popped up in my research, because, again, the last 2 days have been really, really crazy busy, partly at work, but mostly at work, but partly in my personal life, was this article that I am going to share, because I think part of the solution to media manipulation, I don't know if it's teaching this or if it would just simply be actually doing it, or if we actually need to freaking police the media. I know that sounds ludicrous coming from someone who hops up and down about free speech, but at the end of the day, reporters are supposed to be held to a better standard. And I'm about to share with you what that standard is. According to them, this is the SPJ, the Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics, Improving and Protecting Journalism since 1909. This is what we're supposed to be getting from MSNBC, CNN, Fox, and MOUSE. The preamble to it: members of the Society of Professional Journalists believe that public enlightenment is the forerunner of justice and the foundation of democracy. Frankly, if they would just be honest and do their jobs, I would agree with that statement. Ethical journalism strives to ensure the free exchange of information that is accurate, fair, and thorough. An ethical journalist acts with integrity. The Society declares these 4 principles as the foundation of ethical journalism and encourages their use in its practice by all people in all media. Seek the truth and report it. Please note, it does not say promulgate propaganda and support your political party. It says seek truth and report it. Ethical journalism should be accurate. So when I'm not going to say it, but let's just say that, just hypothetically speaking, that a politician is accused of doing X, Y, or Z on either party, and it turns out that they did no such thing. That is not accurate, nor is that fair. Journalists should be honest and courageous. Can you look at any of those MFers and think the words courageous when you're thinking about them? Hey, CODIS Fact Search. Great night all. The government is simply a mafia with more power. And I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Welcome, and I hope you are doing well, sir. I'm worn out. I'm running late, but I'm going to throw out a few things just to pretend like I'm looking for answers. Journalists, anyway, they should be honest, courageous in gathering, reporting, and interpreting information. And to me, I think there's been way too much interpreting, because at the end of the day, I get some things probably do need interpreted. Like, I'm sure the average person needs at least a little bit of an explanation for how an atomic factory works when it melts down, or a little bit of information about an earthquake, or about geology on an earthquake. I'm not saying there's no need or no use for interpreting, but I think that that's been absconded to the point where it's not just that they interpret things, they tell us what to think and how to vote. And I just don't think that's cool, not even remotely. So journalists should take responsibility for the accuracy of their work, verify information before releasing it, use original sources whenever possible. And I just about guarantee everybody can think, and likely it's toward their own bias, but that's okay. For this post, at any rate, we're not worrying about which party's good or bad. I'm certain that everyone can think that, Fox News, that MSNBC, they were irresponsible, they were inaccurate, they did not verify their information. I know we can all think of several instances. Remember that neither speed nor format excuses inaccuracy. Provide context. And again, I'm biting my tongue here, but when, and both sides do it, but when politician X, I'm going to try and invent something. Politician X says that it's very difficult to shoot zebras, but just because it's difficult, we should still be protecting this endangered species. But all they report is it's very difficult to shoot zebras. And then the implication is, well, I love to run around and shoot zebras. It's a terrible example, but I'm tired. Give me a break. Take special care not to misrepresent or oversimplify. And I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but like the last post that I was criticized on, this is what I was trying to point out about the articles I was reading. Frankly, even if you disagree with my stance on a particular politician, I think that if you listened to what I said about those posts, you would see those posts misrepresented, oversimplified in promoting, previewing, or summarizing their story. A journalist should gather, update, and correct information throughout the life of a news story. I'm going to break my word here. Steele dossier. You look it up and you will still get 1 or 2 pages of guilty, 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 guilty. And then on the middle of the second page or the beginning of the third page, then you get the admission, oh, actually that was not real. That was actually not a thing. That's bogus. That's bad journalism. And I'm a bad person because I should be able to come up with something for Biden as well. I apologize. I can't think of anything like that because, well, again, I don't want this to be about politics. It's my bad. I'll take responsibility for not coming up with a good pro-Biden thing here. But the truth of the principle works either way. If there's something about Biden, Trump, Vance, Kamala, Tulsi Gabbard, who really should leave that jerk of her husband and run off with me. She really should. Dude, if it turns out to be wrong, that should be either wiped off the internet, or there should be, like, on top of that article should be an apology and a retraction. That's what should happen. Not this bullshit where you can be 4 or 5 years later still believing that this thing's legit because the top 2 pages still verify your biases. I am going to look at the chat just real quickly Codus Fact Search, you're the... I hope YouTube will let me say this. They're probably going to think I'm threatening you. Grow up, YouTube. Codus Fact Search, you the bomb. Space Fraggle says I run a great talk show. You're the bomb. You two are the bomb. I love you guys. I so need to get rich and become a president and pardon you both for everything. I don't know. It's really not bad. It's not really, no. And this is exactly correct. It's really not about which party is bad. It's about the fact that they both are just as bad. They both are just as bad. Yes, I've done my thing and so on, but I still agree with you in this, because the Republicans all too often, and we'll see what happens this time. You know, I'm trying hard not to be either naive or cynical, and it's tough to find that balance, but the Republicans will all too often, they'll say the things that the conservatives want to hear, but then they vote just like the Dems. And when I say the Dems, I'm not talking about voters like Space Fraggle is not included in this. I'm talking about congressmen, senators, the politicians, not the actual voters. But, you know, so McConnell, conservative talking point, conservative talking point, conservative talking point. But then he votes just like Obama, who himself goes to the Democrats, Democrat talking point, Democrat talking point, Democrat talking point. But then he votes just like the Republicans, and on and on and on it goes. Thank you very much, Codus Fact Search. You guys are wonderful. Okay, I'm going to get back to reading, and then I'll get back to the chat here in a bit. So, journalists should provide context. They should gather, update, and correct information throughout the life of a news story. They should be cautious when making promises, but keep the promises they make. Now, my take on that is, the fuck is what is a journalist doing making any promise at all? How in the world is that even part of their job? Now, okay, yeah, in their personal life, I agree. If they make a promise to their wife, I'm not going to sleep around on you, they should keep it. They make a promise to their kid, if you'll just be good, we'll go to the ice cream store, and the kid's good, go to the, that's all of us. That's everybody. But please tell me where in the world there's a legitimate journalistic story that involves the journalist making a promise. I would love to see it. I would just love to see that. There are far leftist Dems, and there's wacko crazy there's Republicans that are just out there. They're cuckoo. I'm sure my friends think I've gone cuckoo. That's okay. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. If I were a real blogger, I would have had some kind of hold music for you guys for about 20 seconds. Curtis has been restored to sanity. Journalists should identify sources clearly. How many freaking times in the last decade? Again, on both sides, do we hear these vague... The public is entitled to as much information as possible to judge the reliability and motivations. I'm painfully tempted to throw out my partisanship, but I won't. Again, on both sides, we can see people with motives. If you just look at it, they have a motive for hurting Trump. They have a motive for hurting Biden. But you never see that pointed out. You never see that being a part of the story anymore, unless it's the other way, like Fox News. Well, yeah, but so-and-so's got motivations for hating Trump. And so likewise on the other side, CNN, but so-and-so has motivations for hating Biden because Biden flipped them off when he was 5 years old or whatever. Journalists should consider sources' motives before promising anonymity. Sadly, I never even thought of this before. Shows how limited your tired blogger's knowledge really is. But that's actually, hell, yeah, of course, duh. Reserve anonymity for sources who may face danger, retribution, or other harm, and have information that cannot be obtained somewhere else. Explain why anonymity was granted. So, to be critical in an intellectual, scholarly way, not in a those dummies kind of way. The article that Sashi, actually didn't share the article, but he shared the search terms. The article that I just read about the banking / porn industry, which is also tied in with pharmacy. Shout out to John Ponterero. You've been holding out on me, buddy. The article doesn't identify the whistleblower. It kind of vaguely hints at why the whistleblower's not identified, but it doesn't explicitly explain. Are we hiding that person's anonymity so they don't get fired, so they don't get killed, so they don't get pantsed in the men's room? Why is this guy given the privilege of anonymity? Or we aren't told that. Or if it was there, it didn't click in my poor tired mind. I also like this. You only cite them if that information can't be obtained somewhere else. I wonder how many times that's forgotten or overlooked. If you can verify this somewhere else, let's quote those people. Yeah, we got some information from the anonymous source, and that's fine, but we're not citing that. That's not what we're relying on that for the story. This source over here that we can identify, that's the source, and that's the stronger source. See? We're learning about journalism. It's good that you're listening to this stuff. And it's not boring at all. Journalists should diligently seek subjects of news coverage to allow them to respond to criticism or allegations of wrongdoing. How often have we seen it? Again, both sides. You have a Fox News person grilling Biden. Yeah, we're not going to listen to his defenses. We're just going to grill him. And obviously in reverse, Trump, he comes to this thing or that thing. And, Trump, what do you say to Americans that you are a big dumb dodo head? And then when he gives his defense, and to be fair, maybe sometimes it is just him being blusterous. But at the same time, he has that right. I don't care what you may think of him. He's still a human being and an American. He has that right, as did Biden, to defend himself. It's an American principle. Without that principle, we're not Americans anymore. We're slaves. This is interesting. According to this, journalists avoid undercover or other surreptitious methods of gathering information unless traditional open methods will not yield information vital to the public. Wow. That's interesting. So Lois Lane is just kind of a big dodo head. All right. Journalists should be vigilant and courageous about holding those with power accountable. Give voice to the voiceless. Now consider the last 5 years. And again, both sides. How often has any of these platforms? I would suggest this is one of the reasons why, quote unquote, we are the media now. Because if someone's going to give voice to the voiceless, it's the Joe Rogans, it's the Russell Brands, it's the dumbasses on Twitter that everyone's trying to censor. It's your tired blogger, your deleted scenes. It's us. The big tech, the big journalistic companies, they're in bed with the powerful. They have become the powerful. Somebody needs to speak the truth to them. This next one's really, yeah. Support the open and civil exchange of views, even views they find repugnant. I am Spartacus. Good one, Space Fraggle. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted the flow, but I couldn't resist. That was just too good. I am Spartacus. Curtis Selby's maxims on journalism. Support the open and civil exchange of views. I am Spartacus. Recognize a special obligation to serve as watchdogs over public affairs and government. Seek to ensure that the public's business is conducted in the open and that public records are open to all, as opposed to Pfizer, whose records are declared top secret for the next 75 years. And there's nothing bad about that at all. Actually, no, by now it's the next 70 years because nearly 5 years have gone by. So about 70, 71 years. Journalists provide access to source material when it is relevant and appropriate. They boldly go where no man has gone before, at least until she files charges. No, they boldly tell the story of the diversity and magnitude of the human experience. Seek sources whose voices we seldom hear. This is another one that both sides are flagrantly guilty on. Avoid stereotyping. Journalists should examine the ways their values and experiences may shape their reporting. Hogwash. It's my party and I'll report how I want to, report how I want to, report how I want to. Journalists lie and it happens to you. Journalists should label advocacy and commentary. They should never deliberately distort facts or context, including visual information. Clearly label illustrations and reenactments. Never plagiarize. Like we care about that anymore. Always attribute. I'm going to take a moment to look into the chat again. John Ponterero, he's here. He used rye flour. He just got unstuck. I am glad that you did. And John Paradise. Almost paradise. Oh, gosh, that was awful. I'm sorry. I was going for something good, and instead it was just loud. But anyway, the catcher in the rye flower. Huzzah! Welcome, welcome, John Paradiso. And John Space Fraggle can't rye about it. You got it. Ah, you wonderful people. All right. A journalist should minimize harm. Ethical journalists treat sources, subjects, colleagues, and members of the public as human beings deserving of respect. How many times have we heard journalists, again, both sides, insulting Biden, insulting Trump, and to me, what's even worse, insulting Trump voters, insulting Biden voters? Journalists should balance the public's need for information against potential harm or discomfort. The pursuit of the news is not a license for arrogance or undue intrusiveness. Journalists should show compassion for those who may be affected by news coverage. Going to be political again, but hopefully you will forgive me. Parents of autistic children who have questions and concerns about vaccines. I'm not saying wackos. Nobody should ever get vaccinated, ever. But you're a parent. Your child was normal till they got vaccinated. Then after that, they had autism. You have questions. Show compassion. And of course, it goes the other way as well. Say, for example, black man gets pulled over, for some kind of moving violation. The police start to beat the shit out of him. He gets scared, runs, flees, gets caught, beat to death by 5 of them. Show compassion. Show compassion. Use heightened sensitivity when dealing with juveniles, victims of sex crimes, and sources or subjects who are inexperienced or unable to give consent. Consider cultural differences in approach and treatment. Again, I'm revealing my bias, so forgive me. But I'm trying. I'm not meaning to be political. I'm just trying to make an example. During the hurricane in Appalachia, people reported, I believe falsely, maybe I should do more research, but that there were people ordered to hunt down FEMA workers. I don't believe that, but I do believe that there are probably people who pulled guns on FEMA workers, because this isn't to make it right, but it's a cultural thing. In the South, if it's your farm, it's just the culture. You will be treated with respect on your property. You will be, or you will pay. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that that's right, but that's the culture. Same in the hood, with no disrespect toward people in the hood. I'm not going to go into the hood. I'm a big, tough white guy. You're going to give me white privilege. I'll probably end up in a body bag, or if I'm very lucky, just end up with broken kneecaps in the hospital. It's a cultural thing. Again, doesn't necessarily mean it's right, but it's a cultural thing. We should consider these things when we're reporting. Recognize that legal access to information differs from an ethical justification to publish or broadcast. I would suggest that might have been one of the problems with WikiLeaks, who In a lot of ways, I hold them as a hero, but at the same time, maybe it's possible some of that stuff didn't have to be published or broadcasted. I'm just saying, maybe some of it didn't have to be. Realize that private people have a greater right to control information about themselves than public figures, and others who seek power, influence, or attention. Weigh the consequences of publishing or broadcasting personal information. Oh, here I am. Here I am. Avoid pandering to lurid curiosity, even if others do. It's me right there. All right. 2 more things, and then I'll check the chat. Balance a suspect's right to a fair trial with the public's right to know. Consider the implications of identifying criminal suspects before they face legal charges. Consider the long-term implications of the extended reach and permanence of publication. Provide updated and more complete information as appropriate. All right, Codis Fact Search got a roll, and as always, love it. I love you too, sir. I hope you did enjoy it a little bit. Hope I made it mildly entertaining. I'm going to go on for about 20 more minutes, and then because I'm exhausted, I'm going to call it a stream. But hopefully, this does help. We've got the problems of child trafficking and the possibility that major financial institutions are turning a blind eye to it. And we have journalists who are just flagrantly not living up to ethics. John Paradise, that's bullshit. Pfizer's records are kept confidential for all those years. I agree. Shouldn't that be a red flag to the mainstream believers? I agree with you, but here's the deal. I don't exactly know what my friend's answer would be, but I suspect that it would be something like this. And please don't take this as my response, John. I'm just, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. For some reason, I'm trying to share what I think the opposition would say. John Paradise, that's disinformation. You've been listening to all the wrong sources. Here, watch these 5 videos that have been approved by my side, and then you will see that you're just wrong. John Ponterero, I voted the media when the news division stopped being an expected loss because of total neutrality and became network run as a monkey-making division. Ooh, network. I gotta watch that someday. Someday we've got to have a watch party, John. We've got to do it. I don't know when we'll do it, but soon we need to have a watch party on this channel of the 1976 classic Network, which I have not seen, but I've heard so many wonderful things about it. And our brother, John Ponterero, who has excellent taste, as I can attest since he likes my podcasts. No, but he does. He has great taste. And except maybe in podcasts. We need to do that. We need to get that. We need to do that. But that is when it all went to heck. I agree. I do agree. Oh, that's beautiful, John Paradise. I'm trying to remember the rest of the lyrics. What can it mean to a mainstream believer and a COVID vaccine? Space Fraggle wants to yell this at reporters. Shut up and get to the point. I agree. Because look, I do some of it too, but again, in my defense, I'm a podcaster, I'm a blogger, I'm really not a reporter. But having said that, all too often, you get like maybe 2 points reported and the whole rest of it's editorial. And my friends will be, well, you do understand that that's editorial, right? Yeah, I understand it. It's annoying. It's annoying because what I want is reporting. What I want, what I've always wanted, is I want 5 or 6 or 7 parts reporting for every 1 or 2 parts of editorialness. I don't want to be told how to think. I will go to a logic class if I want to learn how to think. Reporters shouldn't be teaching us how to think. They should be sharing with us upon what we should be thinking about. But we should not be told how to think about it. We're citizens, not subjects. Please check out Sci-Fi Mommy's channel. One of these days, I'm gonna get my stream elements updated someday. It'll happen. Probably not this week, but it'll happen. John Ponderosa, until the 70s, you had no idea. No, exactly. You had no idea how Walter Cronkite felt about a story or how he voted. Now it's largely sensationalized reality TV. And I'll go one further. And this was another point that I made toward the person who commented about me. It's not even just that the reporters, it's not just that we know how they vote. Look at the comedians. I'll admit to a guilty pleasure, and Space Fraggle, please forgive me if this is irritating to you. But in the last month or two, I've been listening to Gutfield and some other right-wing comedians. And I'm not saying that they're funnier than The Tonight Show or Jimmy Fallon or Bogley. I can't even remember the names of most of these people anymore. But I'm sick to death of seeing not even an obvious slant, but an obvious avalanche toward one side. And you might throw out 1 or 2 dad jokes about Biden just to say that you're even, but I'm sick to death of it. Now, of course, the same argument can be made about Gutfield, but do you know how long it's been since I've heard a good right-wing joke? It's been since before Rush Limbaugh died. He was the king of the right-wing jokes. And this is the deal. To me, comedy should be without politics. I don't know where, when, or maybe it's always been this way and I just didn't see it. But I always, like Johnny Carson to me is the gold standard of comedy. He made fun of Reagan with respect. He made fun of Carter with respect. His jokes were never mean-spirited or hateful. And like Walter Cronkite, I could not tell you, I honestly have no idea how Johnny Carson voted. He would have Carter on, he would have Reagan on, he would talk to them both like human beings. What happened to that? Are those days gone forever? I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And Space Fraggle, exactly. We can think for ourselves. Hey, Sashi's back for a few minutes, and he's at work now. I would like to apologize for being all Enola gay on you today by dropping a story and leaving. Oh, it's fine. I'm just exhausted enough that I'm actually glad that you did. It means that I had some good material to work with. Hopefully Thursday won't be so exhausting. I'll check the poll here in about 10 minutes and see what y'all would like me to talk about. John Ponderosa, the mainstreamers would not even believe that the records were kept confidently, they would find it misinformation if you told them all those records were kept from view. I mean, that's been my experience. And again, I hope that this is communicating. If it isn't, please forgive me, John Paradise. But my experience is, like, I will share, I saw this on a video, or I read that in a thing, and it seems like the responses are always, not always, like you have your space fraggles who really, I haven't heard you contradict me much, Space Fraggle, but I'm going to assume that if you did, it would be as, I know you've heard that, but I've heard this. I happen to believe this. To me, that's okay. But what I often get is not that, but, well, that article is totally proven to be disinformation, or that was proven to be Photoshop, or I think that that's Photoshop. And it's like all it is just shutting you down. And I'm over that. I'm just over that. Even if it's like the same place I got to with my ex-wife. Even if it's true that I'm freaking crazy, I've still got to do something with what my senses are telling me. And I will try to do the sanest and most intelligent thing I can with what my senses are telling me. But if I see a politician do X, Y, or Z, then I'm going to make assumptions based off of my belief set. I will try to take yours into account if we're having a discussion, if I understand them correctly. Hopefully I'm not meaning to get on to you. It may sound like I'm getting on to you, but I'm not meaning to get on to you. I'm just like exasperated with certain experiences, and I haven't really known how to deal with it. So instead I go on this blog and irritate the crap out of all of you. All right, I'm getting way behind. We're cool. Yes, excellent, Space Fraggle. John Paradise, we should not be told what to think. Exactly. We should be taught how to think. And I agree with that, but I don't think it's the journalist's job to do that. I think that we have teachers and college professors and coaches. We have people for that. I really hate it when journalists get all teacherifying on me. And it's okay. Maybe I'm agreeing or disagreeing with you, but it's okay however you feel about that. But I'm just stating, I don't really like journalists trying to teach me stuff. Reporting facts, wunderbar. But trying to teach me that I should be this or I should be that, I'll go to church, or I'll go to a psychologist. I mean, I've got places to go for that. How to think on our own, to form our own opinion. But I do agree with that we should be taught, that we should be taught in our schools, in our churches or synagogues, or wherever you go, in our families. Journalism, I feel, if they teach us how to think, I think it should be very subtle. And it shouldn't be manipulative. In other words, if you tell a story, this man did X, Y, and Z, and A, B, and C happened, and look, this other guy did X, Y, and Z, and A, B, and C happened. I'm okay with that, at least to an extent. But Cronkite reported the news objectively and did not editorialize. Giving opinions was used sparingly. Yes, with Walter Cronkite it was. Paul Harvey, he had news and commentary. So he had a more editorializing than was traditionally done at the time, but he made it wholesome, he made it entertaining, and he usually made it in such a way that, again, I have zero idea how that man voted. I have no idea if he voted for Nixon or for McGovern or for Carter, Ford, Reagan. I have no idea. But even with the so-called editorials back then, you would still get maybe 60% fact and 40% editorializing, whereas now you're lucky if you get 10% fact and 90% editorializing. Johnny Carson. I was just going to say Johnny Carson. Yeah, I love Johnny Carson. He's who I wish I was. And he did. He had fun. I don't know if he made fun, but he had fun with both sides. And both sides loved him. Whether you were, I never have heard a Republican or a Democrat. Maybe there's someone somewhere, but I've never heard either one. That Johnny Carson, he's going to be the ruination of this nation. I am politically against him. Jason Jones, tonight's topic is dear to my heart. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you very much, Jason. And thank you for the comment. I often wonder how often you guys lurk and how often I offend you, but I am glad that this is something that is speaking to your heart. As much as I may have had my journey and stuff, I still love everybody, and I still actually want to be in some way of service to everybody that I love. I know that I fail, probably all too often. Never let the few keep records. Yes, good evening. John Ponderero, let me introduce you. Jason Jones, one of the most intelligent people that I know. He is a black belt in Aikido, an amazing tech. Although I got to tell you, Jason, LDG Free the Net is a pretty damn good tech. You got some competition. I'm just saying. But Jason Jones, wonderful human being. Welcome to the. I've had similar experiences, confidentiality. They'll say that's been debunked. And look, since Jason's here, I'm going to pander to him. Sometimes it has. But here's what I would like to know. Because all too often I hear that something's been debunked, but then I'm either not told where or how, or I'm told where and how, and then I go watch the video or read the report, and maybe it's because I'm dumb as a post, but I don't see how it debunked that thing. That's all too often my experience. And I'll admit, I've gotten to where I rarely, outside of the community, and this might be a dangerous, horrible cult-like thing, but outside of the community, I'm not watching a lot of people's videos. For one thing, I don't have a lot of time, but for another thing, if I am a panderer, I am a panderer for this audience, whatever the hell you are. Whoever's listening to me, I want to be of service to you. So if I have tended to end up pro-Trump, I will confess a part of that is, for some reason, I attract pro-Trumpers. And that has had an influence on me because the pro-Trumpers I've attracted are like the other group of friends that I have. They're wonderful, beautiful, giving people. They're very kind and uplifting. So, yeah, that's influenced me for good or ill. John Paradise saying that has been debunked is like a magic phrase for it. That does feel like it. All too often, it does feel like it. A teacher should do that. Up with critical thinking, down with Curtis. Oh, wait, I think you meant something else. That's okay. Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin. Oh, God, I miss them. Oh, I miss them. The best. Jane, you ignorant slut. See, that's the way journalism is supposed to be. And Space Fraggle, I love you. I love you guys too. I love you guys too. Dark Woods Present, welcome, welcome. Another wonderful gentleman in the community. This guy, check out his channel. There's going to be enough people in here. I need to start promoting the people's channels again. Please check him out. He makes good content. He writes books. I need to be reading more of his stuff because I'm a wannabe writer, and yet here, like the lazy loaf that I am, I've not read near as much of his stuff as I should have. Please check out Dark Woods Presents. Matt Cheatwood, may Cthulhu, God, Allah, whatever the hell is out there, bless you. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that this is a sign that you are healing or have healed. Every day I think I need to text him. I need to text him. Instead, I just run to my job like the big dope that I am and run around doing my silly thing. I am assuming that Sparkwood just did let out. Again, I ran late at work. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. Dark Woods Presents debunked. They just mean ignore. What? See, and you may be wrong, but emotionally I concur with you because that is exactly how I feel. And it's part of why I've ended up where I'm at. I feel, and I know feelings aren't what it's all about, but still, I often feel ignored. I often feel insulted. And some of that's on me. I have no idea the percentage. I would guess somewhere between 40 to 80%, but I don't really know, where in that range it lies. Always do your own fact checking. Hell to the yes. And again, part of why I've gotten where I'm at on this channel, maybe my fact checking is not great, but it has been our fact checking, my fact checking with the help of you people. We're trying to make each other better. Keep seeking the truth. Amen. So, John Ponterary, you're going to make my head just. I am the great Sensei Selby. I will teach you the mother stuff. I got to be careful not to get a big head with you guys. You're all too kind. You're all too kind. Sparkwood was still going on. I just saw Curtis was going on. Not that big on the subject. I understand, but having said that, not to argue with you, but I have come to love Twin Peaks, and I did not before I became part of the community. So what I'm suggesting is that you should drink the Kool-Aid of the cult, and that you should follow the gods of Sparkwood wherever they may command. I'm just teasing. Whether it's totally up to you whether you like it or not. There are not many things that I would say are for everyone. Martial arts and masculinity and femininity and dogs. That's about it. Matt Cheatwood is continuing to recover. He says he's about 80%. That is great. I wish it was 100, and I can't. I hope that is soon. But I will definitely take 80% over what you were going through. John was in for a bit. I've heard a lot of Conkle's stories. He is a great guy. I do like Conkle, and I'm sorry I missed it. Like I say, work went long, and I was just determined between one thing and another to actually get a stream out, even if it's a kind of a half-bassed one. John Ponterero has had you in your prayers. John prays he's an amazing person of prayer, whereas I am a big dodo head. Darkwoods wrote technical papers and critiques of medical studies. That's cool. So everything you say, you have to cite it. So feelings don't keep your paper from getting published. Interesting. Oh yeah, Blake 7 is coming. What? I'm tired. I'm too tired. It's coming up pretty soon. So even though everyone's come in, I'm exhausted and I'm going to call it a stream. But let me check the poll so that we know. And I'm going to give it a few more minutes so that anyone that was late can vote. But unlike most polls, I'm taking the top 3 votes. So I need somebody to vote to break this tie, because right now child trafficking and poverty are tied for 3rd place. But the community at present says 62% of you say media manipulation is America's greatest problem. Government overreach is second, a distant second, with 23%. And then child trafficking and poverty are tied at 7%. Somebody voted for, I think, media manipulation. I think it's even further ahead at 64%. Well, hell, I may try to talk about all of them. Because they're all, to me, these are the 4 problems that I think if we could solve them, I think that would fix a great proportion of the number of things that are broken in our country. All right, let me check here. Dark Woods, I was critical of mRNA vaccines before COVID. It was published in a national medical publication, but I got slapped with an injunction. The lawsuit didn't go anywhere because nothing was false. Okay, I'm going to give it a few more minutes because I want to give you a chance to at least respond a little bit to this. I very recently read the book Plague. I'm having a senior moment. I can't remember the scientist lady that was co-author of it. But the mRNA vaccines, and this was all pre-COVID, like you say, were a big part of the topic. There were basically 2 topics in that book. One was the clusterfuck that was the study of the mRNA virus in the late 2000s and early 2010s. The second point of the book was that scientist lady was arbitrarily arrested and tried, and I want to say she was exonerated, but I can't remember now. The trial was a clusterfuck too, but she was tried for stealing her notebooks from the study, and Anthony Fauci threatened to have her arrested if she showed up in a government-funded lab. And I mean, it was a big, confusing thing. I would be very curious to know if you have read that or heard about that, or if you can somehow enlighten me about it, because even after reading the book, I'm still confused. I know she's painting herself to be the good guy, and a lot of people say that she's not. And she may not be. She may be. I don't know. But I would be very curious. What was her name? I'm going to have to look it up. Kurt's very tired. Author of Plague. And they'll probably give me Camus. Yep, Albert Camus. That's not the one that I want. I want the one about Anthony Fauci. I do need to read Camus' version of the Plague too. I have it somewhere in this big pile of books. Author of Plague, mRNA vaccine. Her name, I'm going to feel so stupid when I read it. Derp. Oh, they're basically they're basically being censorious. I'll have to use a different search engine. Hold on. Brave author book plague about the mRNA vaccines, CFS, and autism. What is the name of the scientist? Judy Mikovits is the scientist. So please let me know. I've heard other people say that she's not legit. And again, and this was actually like someone I really respected. So it easily could be that she's just a big dodo head. But please let me know what you know about her, what you think of her. It was co-authored by Frank Zappa, celebrated author moving to Montana. Wasn't Camus the killer whale at SeaWorld? Dark Woods actually asked to review their process for making it. It was sloppy, to put it in short form. Well, if you believe the book Plague by Mikovits, yeah, it was a pretty sloppy study. Yeah, I'll put the name in the chat. Yeah, if I'm smart enough to do that. Don't get chronic fatigue. It sucks. I got to go back to Brave and Judy Mikovits. Huh. This is her page. Judy Mikovits. Judy. Copy. And paste. Yes. Okay. So Darkwoods, you understand a little. In fact, you understand better than I do, because while I'm lucky enough to just suffer the tiredness, you actually have the pain. From what I can gather, it's a similar thing. It's like my brain just tells me to shut off, whereas yours tells you pain. That is, if I understand it correctly. But yeah, Judy Mikovits. I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes. Anyone who wants to vote, preferably about either child trafficking or poverty, because otherwise I'm going to have to talk about all of that stuff on Thursday. Media manipulation. So, John Paradise, do you remember Judy? Do you remember Judy, or do you remember Judy Mikovits? I started to do a blog post about her once, but I just couldn't. I couldn't come up with enough to make it both informative and entertaining. Yeah. There's often your people with fibromyalgia have the chronic fatigue as well, because they can't sleep. The pain keeps them awake. I could tell those were John Pontorero jokes. Jody. Boom. All right. I am going to end the poll. I'm just going to talk about all of the above. Thursday will be part 2, a better and hopefully more informed talk about the problems of government overreach, media manipulation, poverty, and child trafficking. Hold on. I'm going to write it down, because otherwise I'll forget. John Pontorero. His name is John Pontorero. Media manipulation, media manipulation, and then government overreach. And then poverty. And related to that, in Maho, is child trafficking. So say we all. All right, let's see. Darkwood Presents. Yeah, she did. She wrote a thing called Plandemic. But again, I know that's what she's famous for, but I'm more interested in, and maybe I should listen to what she said about the pandemic, but I'm a little more interested in what she had to say beforehand. From what I saw, it was talked about how there would be a new virus. Judy, she didn't work directly for Tony Fauci, at least according to the book, but she worked for people who worked directly for Tony Fauci. And yeah, she was big, which is odd because I was reading about her and then COVID happened. And then I heard about her again. And I was like, hey, she's the one who wrote this book. And anyway, they banned all of her stuff from YouTube. Yeah. And all I have really is the book and a very few sentences that I listened to before she was banned off of YouTube. So, considering the company that makes mRNA vaccines are owned by Monsanto and they do genetic and bioengineering, yeah. All right, Curtis is tired. I'm going to call it a stream. But feel free to keep making comments because it usually takes me a while to get through thanking everybody. I can push the button and play the shut-off music. There we go. The soft prone tones of Curtis Selby. Wind your way to sleep to the dulcet tones of a wannabe porn star. The Japanese need more men in their porn industry, and Curtis qualified. John Ponderero, thank you very much for your presence, for your patience, for your prayers, for the links. You're a wonderful person. Thank you so much. Gorilla Censored Thoughts, thank you for all of your advice and for the intro that you designed for me. So far, people seem to like it. So thank you so much. Connie Cleary, one of the great wrenches of YouTube. If you ever have a YouTube channel, you want to try to sucker her to come along and monitor for you. She also makes beautiful videos of birds, crafts, and often accompanies it to beautiful Enya music. So instead of listening to Curtis's porn and ASMR, perhaps you should go to sleep to the dulcet tones of Enya and Connie Cleary's lovely birds. Sashi, the man from the future, thank you for showing up and for your kind and thoughtful comments. You were very contributory to this particular post. I especially thank you since I was really too tired to do a good one on my own. Space Fraggle, Kapla! Glory to you and your house. Us Klingons gotta stick together. The Federation's out to get us. John Doe Juggalo, hail and well met. Thank you for your presence and for the kind comments. Stream Elements, I'm gonna learn how to use it. Gonna learn how to use it someday, but for now, please visit Sci-Fi Mombi's channel. She's good people, and she has really entertaining watch parties, and her Galactic Cafe is actually a pretty fun and positive place to be if you have the time during your lunch break. Sometimes I do. Not as often as I used to. But then I care more about this job. You didn't hear me say that. Space Fraggle is fooled. He thinks I'm a stand-up guy. Ha ha ha! I'm teasing. And now I'm going to have to fight him in an honor duel. Probably lose. Big Al Presents. This was the very first person to ever be in one of my chats. God bless Big Al. And if you haven't already, check out his 10-word movie reviews. They're very fun. And more, I'm relying on a handful of people's reviews to tell me what's worth my time to watch. Big Al is one of them. And just so you know, no, he's not one of these people that's just going to arbitrarily, oh, it's woke, so I don't like it. No, he likes it if he likes it, and if he don't, he don't. That's simple. Love it. Doobie-doo. Codis Fact Search. Hail and well met. Thank you for your presence, your advice, for all the fun videos that you share. Thank you for your patience. I know I've been quiet lately. Just been like running my tail off. Until very recently, it was the good kind of tired. But man, the last couple of days, oh. It's John Paradise, the catcher in the rye flower. It's John Paradise. How could we ask for more? I don't know where I'm going with that. Someday we need to have that watch party. In fact, I'm going to write that down too. It needs to happen soon. Watch party. And I think whether you're liberal, conservative, libertarian, or freakazoid, I think that movie will be relevant from what I've heard about it. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Watch party of network. We need to make that happen. We need to somehow find a way to get a whole bunch of us from the community together on that one. Methinks. Spelunk. Jason Jones, hail and well met. Thank you for your presence, for your kind comment, and I hope that whenever I irritate you, you just send a little prayer up. God knows who's right and who's wrong. I don't. Matt Cheatwood, hail and well met. Prayers for you. Hopefully you get 100% soon. And I will. I'll just keep seeking for the truth. Wherever it leads me, that's where I at least intend to be going. Darkwoods Presents. Thank you very much for your kind comments and for your contributions to the discussion. And prayers for your fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, because I know chronic fatigue I know about personally. Fibromyalgia I know about from dating a woman who had it. Well, she still has it, I'm sure, but we no longer date. Judy worked for Tony Fauci. Good night. Please leave some feedback on Darkwoods Presents audiobooks. Yes, please. It probably won't be tonight, but I need to do that too. I'm going to write that down. You know what? Damn it. I'm going to write that down. Feedback. I'm just like Bilbo Baggins. Gandalf T. Thursday. Audiobooks. Darkwoods. Not meaning to make fun. It's fun to say it that way. Darkwoods. Judy Mikovits was a COVID conspiracy theorist. I transcribed some of the things she said back at the dawn of the COVID lockdowns. I made screen recordings of her stuff, and I have none of it left. Wow. Not sure what to say about that. All right. I've decided to cut down my spiel a little bit, at least for this post. But not going to do away with it entirely. It's been said that life is pain, and anyone telling you otherwise is trying to sell you something. And it's true, I am trying to sell you something. I'm trying to sell you on the idea that you are good, wise, and intelligent enough to run your own life. You don't need big governments or big corporations telling you how to live your life. Lastly, I want you to know you're not going insane. You're going sane in a world gone mad. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.